What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit. In the left side of the screen, we have Grassengroom, and he is going up against Count Von Count in this. It's technically the preliminary stage. These players, they are actually in the round of 16. It's just simply because everyone's so insanely good. They're all top 8 finishes in an S-tier tournament. We've got Grassengroom here. He's got some stats on his under his little photo. I don't know. I don't know why. This is what it is. This is what we've done. Lots of room for improvement. It's literally grass in a room. Exactly. Count Von Count on the other side. He's actually one of the most experienced players on in the tournament. Basically, he's been playing the game for a really, really long time. He's actually got, I think his tournaments date back to like before 2014, before then. I think he played even earlier than that as well. An incredibly strong player. Lots of god depth. I actually think his speed's quite fast, and maybe whoever made these cards is underrated him there. But an incredibly strong player. Grassengroom here, relatively new to the scene. His god depth, he's been improving his god pool, but we haven't actually seen that in tournament yet. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly how he's going to go with all of that. But without further ado, we're going to be jumping into the games here. The map is on competitive mega random, as every single map will be. Jumping into the game right now. Spawning in the left side of the map in the blue color, playing as Set. His name is Count Von Count. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Zeus. His name is Grassengroom. The map is obviously competitive, mega random, and we get one of this. I like these spawns. This spawn is a lot of fun, and look at this. The Grassengroom Catoscopos is moving straight towards the priest. Grassengroom going for a big dodge. Oh, not Grassengroom. Count Von Count going for a dodge there. He was so close to finding that priest and putting an incredible stop to Count Von Count's early game priest shenanigans here. However, Grass has spotted those balls over there. So if he's paying attention, if you're looking at the minimap and you see that there's 6 balls here, what will end up happening is those balls on your screen will disappear. They will be disappearing. So we'll see how this game's going to go. Set versus Zeus here. We do see the houses already getting thrown up by Count Von Count. The variant of the competitive mega random map that we're kind of playing on this one is the kind of smallish map. As it is, it's surrounded by trees and all the good stuff that happens where that's concerned. So it's a little bit closer. The spawns are a little bit better. We do see the villagers already moving out onto this location. They might actually find the priest here, as the priest is for some reason being cancelled, no longer converting the boars here. As Count Von Count moving in, the villagers coming over. Will he notice? And will he bolt? It looks like Count Von Count retreats his priest, but immediately gets bolted there. An unfortunate turn of events for Count Von Count. He does end up losing that priest without even getting a single boar. He gets lucky in the early stages, but then he gets completely shut down there. The food finishing up in the main base, it seems. Not a whole lot of food in the main base to start with, so both of these players are going to have to move out into their secondary hunts. There's not a lot of food actually on this map. One spawn of hunt outside of the base can be a really, really difficult thing to deal with for a lot of different matchups. There is a lot of hunt on the top side of the map, though hasn't yet been scouted, though Grassengroom is going to be finding that with his scout now. Count Von Count not really knowing about it as he's scouting the entirety of the bottom side of the map. You really don't know what is on competitive mega random. You have to scout completely to have a solid understanding. Scout your entire side of the map to really understand what's on the map, and we'll see what Count Von Count's strategy is going to be as a result of the almost shocking early game that he's going to be receiving here because of the early priest shenanigans. Normally it's an incredibly important part of the set early game, is getting a handful of animals, but we'll see how that's going to go moving forward here in this game. But the big thing is Zeus in this matchup has got a fairly big win condition. And that win condition is if Zeus can get to the late game and Zeus can start making Colossus, things get really, really hard for the Set player. So in a way, in this matchup, I feel like Set is on a little bit of a timer against Zeus. So you have to go for some sort of timing attack, some sort of classical fight, some sort of aggressive play as Set. It's a very, very different god to, say, Ra or Isis in this matchup because you simply cannot play for the late game as Set. You need to find yourself a tangible advantage in gold, in town centers, or in economy to a big degree to find yourself an advantage in this map. In this matchup, I should say. As Da is coming through, we do have ourselves 9 villagers on gold here for Count Von Count. We're seeing Hermes come through for Grassengroom here as well, as it looks like he is fairly comfortably going to be going for a second town center. I really actually love these kind of spawns where the town centers are super far away from all of the hunts, so it really does give you a solid advantage, like playing aggressively and not going for a fast second town center on these sorts of spawns. But obviously, Count Von Count didn't realize that. He's currently shanking the Jason back as he's Grassengroom's trying to be a little bit annoying here. I think maybe Count could just bring his Pharaoh in and cause some problems over here for this early game pressure because there's no bolt or anything like that. As we do see the Priest Pharaoh going to be moving forward, pushing those villagers off of the food as both players going to be doing a little bit of cheeky shenanigans. The top spots does get sniped down there as Count's going to be moving his villagers back into his main base here. The villagers moving back over here for Grass. He doesn't lose anything, but he does lose out on quite a bit of early game gather rate here as we do see an attempt at a ghost building from Count Von Count, but not quite able to make it work here. Still, we see the... Oh, you got a barracks coming down now for Count Von Count. I really like this play. I think that a classical fight here is going to be super important, super effective, as we do see one villager getting sniped there. Beautiful play by Count Von Count. First blood is drawn as the Priest Pharaoh moving forward. We still haven't... Do we have the Odysseus out just yet? Looks like there's no Odysseus just yet. Town Center coming up for Grassengroom. He doesn't even have the wood to get that Odysseus out, as now the gold mine villagers over here will get pushed off. This is completely fine for Grass to just give up for a little bit here, jump over onto the wood line here and try and work towards getting an Odysseus out to hold on, as we do see the Centaur coming in onto this location. One villager going down, but the Jason does end up falling here. The villagers will have to pull back as the Wadget is not in on this location to help defend. The town center now coming up for Grassengroom as the Wadget does come through. We'll be able to spot this, potentially going to get a villager pick or two here, though the villagers can simply just walk away as these villagers from Count Von Count still doing a lot of micro over here, as we do see the shifting sands coming in and the ceasefire does come down, but too little, too late for Grassengroom. He loses that villager there. Good play from Count Von Count. He should be bringing his priest, his Pharaoh, back home. He can actually send the priest up to this top location over here and start converting these boars away while this is all going on as well, and start stealing that hunt away for himself. He's jumping his town center down on this location as well, saying, all right, we've got to start getting those town centers out and working out how this is going to go. We see the monuments coming down now for Count Von Count. It's the lumber camp also on the way. But a very, very interesting early game here. Both players inflicting a decent amount of damage onto their opponent here. Grassengroom is behind 4 villagers right now, but he will have the town center up earlier than Count Von Count, so he should be able to catch up to some degree here, though Count Von Count's town center will be up probably before the 24th villager does come out, and that will mean Count Von Count has just a slight edge moving forward in this matchup, but it's not going to be indicative of any sort of game-winning play thus far. So very, very close still in this game. Town center up. See the Jason and the Odysseus back out, trying to look for some harass over here, as we see the hyena going to get eaten by Count Von Count. He's also got these animals over here that are going to be moving towards the town center. Is the Jason, Odysseus checking out the boars over here. We do see that Count Von Count's already moving up to the top corner of the map here to grab these boars. Now there should be a handful of priests all around the map here for Count Von Count to kind of defend against this kind of thing, but we'll see how it's all going to go moving forward in this game. Now, the thing is right now that ceasefire has been used by Grassengroom, which means that Count Von Count has got access to his Ancestors Eclipse to be used at any stage in this game that he wants. Any stage that he wants, he can use that Ancestors. It's not got Eclipse, so it's not going to be as strong as, say, an Isis Ancestors Eclipse, but the fact is he can use it whenever he wants. And not only that, he's also going to be able to use his Tornado whenever he wants. As we actually see Plow coming in for Grassengroom, and this is a really, really detrimental to Grassengroom's success in this game. Having to farm this early, he's actually having a lot of issues with his villagers getting out of his town center, and he's actually falling even further behind on the villager count, which really shouldn't have been happening here. But this is all because of the kind of map control that Count Von Count's been attempting to put in onto this game, and Grassengroom just doesn't feel like he can move over onto those hunt locations in the top corners of the map. As we do see this priest moving over into the corner here, going to start trying to steal those boars away. We'll see if Grassengroom's going to notice this or not as his heroes moving through. It looks like he's not quite aware that this is actually going on just yet. We see the centaur coming in onto this location, going to get a quick shot onto the villager here as it's going to retreat back into the hometown center. It's going to be completely fine here. Shouldn't be too much to worry about as the priest's going to come over and start dealing with this. Grassengroom's centaur here sitting underneath the tower, so it can't actually fight back, but should be dealt with relatively easily in this game, as we do see now that Grassengroom's priest does get spotted here. Nice play from Grassengroom, just allowing any of those balls from getting stolen away. But the thing is, Grassengroom now needs to get over here and eat this hunt. He really shouldn't be going so heavily on the farms right now, but he's already done that, and that's going to really allow Count Von Count a solid timing in this game to have a really, really big advantage, as he's actually cut villagers out of that town center, out of both town centers in an effort to get to the next stage. He's throwing up the second monument to the soldiers, which might mean he wants to go in with some pretty heavy amounts of Scorpion Men. The big question is, do you go Chariot Archers, Spearmen, Scorpion Men? Do you go Chariot Archers, Scorpion Men, Siege Tower? Do you just go Spearmen, Scorpion Men, Siege Tower? There's a lot of different options here against Zeus, because the Zeus players, they're not scouting really what composition you're making. They're deciding what to make early in the game. So there is room for some metagaming in these sorts of matchups from the set perspective, where against Egyptian, normally speaking, Egyptian players like to go, especially Isis, likes to go for Chariot Archers here, and you need to be going for mass Hippocon to deal with that. So a big counter to that is simply don't build Chariot Archers, just build Spearmen, put everyone on wood, and have a really, really good time. We'll see how things are going to be going here as the Count Von Count units getting pushed back into his main base. These villagers over here going to have to get pulled off. Count Von Count just about to run out of food here, but he will be getting out those animals of set 3 giraffes here with 150 food. He's going to be a little bit of a help for him moving forward in this game. And we'll see what he's going to do. We do see a Migdol Stronghold getting dropped down onto this town center straight away as Grassengroom here beginning to spam out his buildings over here. Archery ranges coming down, stables coming down. It's not my favorite choice. I don't particularly like seeing archery ranges from the Zeus perspective against Egyptian. I don't think that it's necessarily the best way to go, especially when you're playing as Zeus and you get those really, really strong hoplites. I'd much prefer to see Grassengroom go hoplites here and mass farms rather than drop the archery range down and be trying to spend the wood income on archers, because you really, I don't think that it's that helpful in the end of the game, in the long run. But we'll see how it's all going to go for him. As the villagers getting pulled off of this large gold mine over here, we do see the bears and the Wadget coming through here to help, but good picks here for Grassengroom, getting a couple of picks there as the spearmen searching around the map looking for some villager kills, but there is nothing for Count Von Count to attack just yet as the villagers pulling back over here. Looks like Grass did pull off of this location nice and early here, no problems. Farms coming up all over the place here for Grassengroom, as we do see this town center getting spotted over there. We haven't got Count Von Count dropping his siege works just yet, but it looks like Count Von Count wants to grab this town center over here, which I absolutely love. I think this is a great play from the set sides of things here. He's got all of the map control for the time being. He's got a big advantage here. He's going to grab this town center, and that is a tangible advantage in a way, though this back town center can be underworlded onto to take for Grassengroom here in the later stages of the game. So we'll see how things are going to go here, as some spearmen getting taken down here by the Odysseus. One Hippocon does go down, but the rest of these spearmen will be getting picked off here. And the spearmen will live, but Hippocon still searching around as Grassengroom. What he really needs to do moving forward here is to get himself heavy cavalry as soon as he possibly can. And I would really, really like to see him getting Pierce upgrades. This is something that I think that is a little bit lacking in terms of that people do get it, but it's always just that little bit late. I feel like when you're advancing to the heroic age against the Egyptian players, before you even start seeing their army, you should be thinking about Pierce upgrades. As you got all these resources you can spend and may as well be doing it. But we do see a little bit of raids now coming in onto this town center. This is actually a really, really big weakness for Grassengroom here, is that this town center has got now 10 farms on it. And if Count Von Count pushes in with an Ancestors push here, I think it's going to be really, really difficult for him. As we see the Scorpion Man coming in, Grassengroom not paying attention, going to be losing a handful of those cavalry there as they're going to be retreating back home as siege works. Going to be coming up on this location here as Count Von Count is... I love the forward... I love the forward siege works. I think this is definitely something that is super, super strong for Egyptian players to go for, because it's going to mean that he can just basically just continue to send siege towers in and get real good amounts of value out of that, as we are seeing this this Scorpion Man here getting taken down quite quickly over here as the heroes aren't in on this position just yet. The priest coming forward to get some good damage onto the Manticore here as we see heavy spearmen coming through for Count Von Count. 119, 122 population for Count Von Count. He's just trying to put some pressure in onto this location as Ancestors getting dropped down. Heracles popping out onto this location, going to be able to defend, but that's going to be a lot of idle villages getting caused over on that location there. Will this damage be enough as Grassengroom has plenty of wood in the bank? We'll see what he's going to be doing with that moving forward as the spearmen still searching around here looking for stuff to attack. Meanwhile, over on this location, we do have Grassengroom happily mining the gold mine there, so not going to be able to put all too much pressure onto that for the time being, unless maybe a random Scorpion Man moves over there. Wouldn't be a bad idea. We do see the Ancestors now moving over onto this gold mine to push off there. Thank you for the Prime Warfield. Appreciate you, my friend. As the Jason actually going to be getting sniped down here by the Scorpion Man, will actually get picked off, though, by the Odysseus as they trade 1-for-1. A good trade there for Count Von Count. It's mostly Chariot Archers for Count versus those Hippocon over here. He's pulling back. We aren't seeing any of those siege towers coming out just yet as the villagers over here making a break for it against those minions, but they looks like they're going to be falling nonetheless as the Scorpion Man going to be swinging around onto this location, going to start putting pressure onto the gold villages. It's still 66 villages apiece. It's still population relatively equal here, but Grassengroom, he needs to keep his villages nice and safe here. We see a military building trying to get dropped down, but the Scorpion Man does deny that for the time being as the villagers are going to be getting pulled back. Chariot Archers swinging around here. We do have the Hippocons chasing on the back as heavy cavalry about to pop. We've also got 25 favor in the bank here for Grassengroom. Does he have more on the temple? Yes, he does, which probably means that we will be seeing Spirited Charge here as well, which is a really, really big upgrade to shut down the Chariot Archer raids and everything else that comes for it, as the Scorpion Men getting a lot of villager kills over here as the villager count starting to come into the favor of Count Von Count. Shadoof coming through as well for Count, so he's going to be able to start spamming out those farms very, very nice and efficiently as the Hippocon coming through here. The food just about to come up for Grassengroom to grab himself Spirited Charge if he wants, but the problem right now is that Count Von Count has already kind of transitioned, not transitioned, but he's got a decent counter to those Hippocon with his spearmen. He's already got them out, as we do see a Migdol Stronghold coming up onto this position to secure this gold mine, as Count Von Count is seeing a very, very real possibility here to get a gold staff of some variety here. He controls this gold mine here, and if he can move up and control this gold mine up in the top corner as well, this one will expire eventually, and that can be a really nice way to play moving forward. But the other thing here is that Grassengroom is going to be relatively close to going to the Mythic Age here. Is 130 or 130 population. He's got 700, 650 food, lots of wood in the bank, not so much gold here, but there is a bit of a difficulty here for Count Von Count that will be coming in this game, and that's going to be Bellerophon and Colossus coming potentially in that Mythic Age, as Grassengroom's food is starting to skyrocket here. As the units pulling back into the base, Grassengroom still very, very close here. You might want to consider throwing a fortress down or something just to protect this location a little bit more, as the Hippocon over here moving through. It looks like the Chariot Archer is going to be making a break for the villagers over on this location. There's a nice little split here from Count Von Count coming in to try and snipe some of these villagers, as his Hippocon are going to be Grassengroom's Hippocon are going to be taking down Count Von Count here, as Hephaestus does end up getting clicked up for Grassengroom, and this is where things get scary for Count Von Count. What is he going to be able to do as a response to this? He does have 160 of 160 population. He does have the 4 town centers, but he is royally stuck in the classical age, heroic age for the time being, which means no access to strong spearmen, no access to Avengers, no access to like the stronger heroes even to deal with the Colossus. He will have access to funeral rites, so he can deal with it that way, but we'll see what Grassengroom's options are going to be here. I actually think, funnily enough, one of the best ways to play this from the Zeus perspective while you're going to the Mythic age is to spam villages onto gold and get yourself like upwards of 40 villages on gold, because you need 400 gold for the Bellerophon, you need 300 gold for those Colossus, you need tons of gold for like Heliopoli as well, and it can be, and also the Hippocon costs a lot of gold, so gold income is a lot more than you might expect moving forward in these sorts of positions here. But we'll see how it's all going to go as the Hippocon trying to push in over on this location. We do see the Spearmen coming over here to help out Chariot Archers, while they will be getting picked off relatively quickly by those heavy Hippocon. There's just not enough there to really engage on that fight there, as the Grassengroom units pulling back ever so slightly. Hephaestus just about to pop. It's going to be a big economic boost for Grassengroom. One thing I wouldn't mind seeing Grassengroom do after he finish off this wall is start walling this off as well to secure this gold mine. It's going to be really important. The other thing here is that Underworld onto another back town center away from these units is going to be a really nice way to surprise Count Von Count and find an advantage or something like this, as the siege tower over here is going to be getting taken down. There's the Plenty Vault getting dropped down. Do we see an immediate Bellerophon coming out just yet? No Bellerophon coming through. The armory's coming up. Still no Forge of Olympus through just yet for Grassengroom as he's trying to push through. He probably doesn't need to be taking this fight just yet. He's spending a lot of resources on kind of inefficient trades here. He doesn't actually have an advantage just yet because he has hit the Mythic age, but he doesn't have an advantage just yet. He needs to wait on his Forge of Olympus. Probably about 2 minutes or 3 minutes later is when his advantage starts coming through. But the Colossus is going to come in. Obviously, Bellerophon here would be a huge advantage against those heavy chariots. I've said it once or twice, but Bellerophon can take on a swath of archers in any sort of situation. Arcus, heavy Arcus chariots, Toxotes, throwing axe. Literally anyone is going to be having a difficult time against Bellerophon unless you've got some sort of units that can chase Bellerophon down, like cavalry or like cavalry basically. Maybe spearmen as well could be a good idea. But champion Hippocon now coming through for Grassengroom. Those are going to be incredibly strong pushing through here as Count Von Count has to retreat back. Grassengroom finally getting some good trades here. As do we still don't have Grassengroom's Forge of Olympus in just yet, as he's not prioritized that in the slightest here. He's prioritizing those line upgrades, which makes me feel like potentially Hera would have been somewhat of a better idea. As we do see the units trying to push through here. We got the Spearmen over here going to be getting taken down as the Siege Tower still moving back in. We've got some villagers over on this location here. Count Von Count just that little bit too slow to prevent this gold mine from getting grabbed. Love the attempt from Grassengroom, just that little bit too slow to get it up. Would have been absolutely huge here as the wall's coming up all over the map for Count Von Count, trying to make sure that he's not going to get raided anywhere. We've got the Colossus coming through onto this location here as Count Von Count still doesn't have himself funeral rites. He will be needing that relatively soon here as Shaft Mine coming through for Grassengroom. It's Forge of Olympus finally coming in here after being in the Mythic Age for maybe well over a minute or two. He probably could have had this a little bit earlier. Potentially delaying Champion Hippocon would have been a good idea, as now the Siege Tower is starting to break through these military buildings over here, wanting to take down the town center on this location here. We'll see how it's going to go as Count Von Count slowly moving forward here. We do have some raids coming through here, just 2 lone Hippocon, but these are champion Hippocon. This is the difference between kind of early game raids and late game raids, is that in the late game, you can happily send 1 or 2 Hippocon that are fully upgraded into your opponent's base, and your opponent can't simply just turn around with like 9 villagers and take them out, because they've got so much HP. Such a really strong unit there to be getting raids in with. So we see We see Grass searching around there for some attacks. So some iconic damage here as we've got the Heliopolite moving around on this location. Some military buildings getting dropped down for count on that top position over there as the priest is going to be taking down the Colossus over on that position there. The siege towers still pushing through as Grass is desperately trying to hold on here. We've got the Migdol stronghold coming up on this location as the villagers coming forward to shank down the Heliopolis over here, as the siege towers rolling through to take down the stables and everything else here, as this Migdol stronghold does end up falling. But the Heliopolite also ends up falling as Count Von Count is playing this really, really interestingly. He's just staying in the heroic gauge here. He says, I don't need no mythic gauge. I'm going to just keep putting pressure on and trying to get some good trades here. But as this game gets further and further along, you can see full copper has come through for Grassengroom. We've already got bronze shield, but that's not that much. In all honesty here for Count Von Count. He's got bronze shields, but the bronze upgrades are going to be coming through for Grassengroom really, really soon here. But the big thing is that Count Von Count's up 40 population here in this game, as the army pulling back here for Grassengroom for the time being as more Migdols are coming up. We got some chariot archers coming in onto this position though now, as a Heliopolite does get produced out of this fortress. Could be enough to deal with those chariot archers, but with these chariot archers now, they're probably even on stand ground here. Going to be taking out those villagers very, very quickly, as it's exactly what it looks like. Sitting outside of range of the fortress nicely. You can just sit in here and have full fire on that gold mine, as Grassengroom is going to be hurting quite a bit, losing all that gold here as the units have to pull back. Grassengroom still hasn't managed to get himself into the bronze weapons or bronze armor just yet. In a bit of a difficult situation though, as the champion Hippocon getting some good damage. We just look at this mark, look at this trade route, trading from this town center up to this town center, or maybe over to here. I'm not sure exactly where he's going, but a decent trade route here for Count Von Count as well. He's got nine of those camel caravans coming through, as the siege tower is somehow able to sneak through here and take down Grassengroom's town center. This is where things get terrifying. You're already down 40 population. Now you're going to be dropping down another extra 20 population. There's some watchtowers coming through. The villagers are pushed off this gold mine over here, as Grassengroom doesn't have any gold left remaining in this game. He has to push through somewhere, potentially over here, but he doesn't have the population anymore. We'll see if Count Von Count's going to be able to win this one in this moment here, as he's now starting to make some mercenary cavalry to help fight on this location here. Chariot archers still happily sniping down villagers over here. Potentially a siege tower or something to take down this fortress wouldn't go astray either, as the Heliopolite getting sniped down by those spearmen over on this location. We've also got more upgrades coming through for Count Von Count. Finally, bronze weapons, bronze mail, bronze shields coming through for Grassengroom. He's getting his town center back up, but the siege tower is rolling through here to prevent this one from going back up, as this is absolutely huge. It's idling 12 villages here, as Count Von Count here is causing just so much pressure for Grassengroom, as he does pull off, Grassengroom does pull off the town center there. The siege tower goes down. The village is going to get back onto that location there, but is Grassengroom's technological advantage here going to be enough for him to hold on, or will the spam of a heroic age set be enough for Count Von Count to hold here, hold on to his advantage, as the chariot archers still managing to get some good damage done over here. Send the Heliopolite over here to deal with these chariot archers would be a really, really good idea, as the unit's still pushing through over onto this location. The town's just about to get back up for Grassengroom. This is great for him. He's going to be able to get it back up. He's going to be completely fine. He's got himself the bronze upgrades. The problem that he has to deal with is 100% going to be this Heliopolite over here, all these chariot archers, and securing this gold mine. The fact that no wall was put up here by Grassengroom is really, really biting him in this game. He's got 3,600 gold left in this location. So after he secures this town center, he really needs to push through around this corner of the map and deal with this, because this gold mine here is vitally important here in this game, as the champion Hippocon, medium Hippaspis, trying to push through here. Very little gold in the bank for Grassengroom, as we've got some spearmen now coming out to deal with this Heliopolite. The fortress will be able to deal with those spearmen there, as Grassengroom pulls back ever so slightly, realizing exactly what's happening over there, still making some push through on this location here, as we've got another Migdol stronghold coming up. The siege towers are going to continue to pressure through onto this location over here, as the tower able to pick off a villager or two here as well. Grassengroom not quite paying attention just yet, but I'm sure I hope he's not going to lose this location here. He's got fortified town centers. We do see the Hippocon going to move over and take out the watchtower here. Grassengroom really shouldn't be giving any sort of time to Count Von Count to somehow get to the next age here, as we do see an Underworld passage coming through, and this is a great play here for Grassengroom, though. Funnily enough, I think maybe onto this location, he would have been maybe a little bit smarter, sending villagers through to grab that gold over there. Grassengroom now floating a little bit of resources, going to be able to start getting himself the upgrades he needs. Town Center here has got itself masons. There's no real siege units here for Grassengroom in this game, as this is somewhat of a desperate attack here. No siege just yet, as the Chariot Archer is going to be moving in onto this position over here to hold on. Villagers jumping through this location to potentially throw a fortress down or something, but not many buildings here. He can throw down tons of buildings if he so chooses. The village is going to be able to start shanking down the town center, as well as it is slowly going down here. Grassengroom, Count Von Count not overreacting to this at all. He's pushing forward. He's going to be taking out villagers here as best as he possibly can. Will the town center be falling in this location or not? As we've got a Migdal Stronghold getting thrown up on this spot here. Grassengroom putting everything in onto this fight. Imagine just like one Colossus here. Just one Colossus, one Heliopoli over on that location. So the Chariot Archer's still getting villager kills over here. Villagers on this location getting taken down as well, as they have to retreat back. They're not going to be able to chop that wood down any longer here, as Grassengroom's economy looks like it is shot here. He's not quite able to take the town center down either, as the Chariot Archers here coming in to clean up those champion Hippocon with bronze upgrades. Copper Mail coming through for Count Von Count as well. Town center survives here in this position, and Grassengroom is in a ton of pain now moving forward, as we do get the Heliopoli out. Is that going to be enough here? We've got some mercenary infantry that can come over and take this one down. We'll see if he's going to be able to use that here, as the Heliopoli does drop back through. And in that moment, Grassengroom taps out. He's got to be kicking himself. That Underworld was 100% the right play. And you can see how low that town center got. But you got to imagine if there was like a Heliopoli or if there was a Colossus here, that town center would have fallen. Grassengroom could have potentially grabbed that town center as well, and then moved in onto this gold mine, secured this one for a little bit, and then start pressuring over here. And it could have been a completely different game here for Grassengroom. But Count Von Count manages to hold on, gets the first dub here in his series. It's a best of 5, so he's got to win 2 more now after this one. Give Count Von Count his point before I forget. An incredible game here by Count. He played it very, very interestingly, identified the gold mines are in a really, really weird position. It's kind of Frozen Wastes-esque, if you will. In fact, it basically is, with the trees being traded for the ice, basically. But Frozen Waste-esque map in the end of the day, and Count Von Count identifies that, secures it, and pushes Grassengroom out of this game beautifully. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.